everybody. Lou Santiago. I hope you like our new opening because I thought it was pretty cool. Looks like a 64 Pontiac, but hey, what do I know about cars? Tonight we got a great show. I'm going to bring John in here in a little bit, and we're going to chat. There he is. There's John.
Oh, hey. Oh, a little early. How you doing?
That was pretty quick, wasn't it? Don't worry. You're good. Just wake up. So, because we're moving fast. Because our guest talks slow, so we're going to move fast so we can give him maximum coverage. That's what we're doing. But first, I got to do a little bit of house cleaning. Next week, we have Justin Padfield of Scott's Hot Rods, John. How about that?
I know.
That's
cool talking to him. Yeah, he was out of Barrett Jackson. That's going to be a good show.
It's going to be a good show. It's going to be good. He's going to give us the down low on everything. I know he will. And then we have Rachel and Dion Thuros of R&D Garage. We have Richard Rawlings. That's right, Gas Monkey Garage on June 16th. And he also revived his podcast called The Monkey Trap. So just remember that. And then we got something that everybody should enjoy, John. We got Dennis McCarthy.
Yep. That's going to be pretty cool.
Tell him about John. Just tell him about John. You know Dennis, I mean. You know
Dennis is the card coordinator for all the Fast and Furious movies. I talked to him a couple times. Dennis does about 300 plus cars for the Fast and Furious movies in a few months.
Right.
What's cool is, see the car he's sitting on, Mopar. More than likely, believe it or not, it has an LS motor in it. He told me he drops LSs and everything, so when they wreck it, he can pull it, keep on going instead of trashing the whole vehicle. He's got some really cool stories of shutting down Fast and Furious and having to ship cars overnight in a plane to get them on set in Europe so they can keep on going. They give him the script. He figures out what car fits, just like somebody figuring out an outfit or a suit or whatever for the guy. It's actually pretty cool.
That is cool.
And he's the man behind the scenes that does all that.
So that's going to be – Dennis is actually after Richard Rollins. He's the week after. And then after Dennis, we have Troy Ladd, Hollywood Hot Rods, AMBR winner. And now I got to tell you what's going on with my shop, John.
Yep.
I got just about everything in it. It's a little snug, but, I'm making room. I got some stuff I can still put in a container, and then the container will be full. I got so much stuff. And I'm going to start firing stuff up, whether I'm doing something for Garage Insider TV. I got an S10 I got to do, and I got this Mustang I got to do before I get back on the Del Rey. And the Del Rey and the Slow Bourbon are at the house. So we're moving forward. Yep.
Lou, hold on for a sec. Do you think we should explain these hats or no? Just keep on going?
Just keep on going. Just keep on going. They'll pick it up when we bring on our guest.
Okay. All right, I'm with you. Keep them in suspense. No idea why.
I didn't know. Real quick, this is on a personal note for John. John, I did not know that you celebrated your 24th wedding anniversary last week.
24th wedding anniversary. Been with my wife since 94. Met her in 94, got married in 97. Lou, when we met, she said, don't even talk about sex until we get married. After we were married, she said, you can talk about it all you want. So, it ain't happening. I'll tell you, I got it rough. I'll tell you. No, but my wife. I got a good wife. I'm lucky. Yeah. What's up with me? I don't know how anybody could do it.
So, and the other thing is, if everything goes right, I'm thinking, next week we're gonna be able to take phone calls. You think?
Next week, got the box today.
Okay, so we got a box, and it's designed so you can take phone calls. So that may make the show a little bit longer, but that's okay. We can always talk longer. It's not a big deal. And then
next week, hold on. Next week, Thursday, right? It's your birthday. So people can call in and wish you happy birthday. We get that set up.
Okay.
No? 27?
Yeah, 27. Yeah.
27.
27.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, cool.
And then now just for you guys who know, a few weeks ago we had Linda Vaughn, and she had really bad internet connection, so it didn't come out like we wanted. So we're going to bring Linda Vaughn back. We're working on that. This way we can get her scheduled, get her in, and give you guys a really good show, because Linda's a hoot. And we gotta talk about the Power Tour, but that's where we're at, man.
To back up, Linda Vaughn was texting me today. I was checking in on her.
Okay.
I check in, I don't know, every week or so, make sure, things are good. She said she wasn't doing well. Told her I'd circle back in a little bit because it's podcast night. But
Right.
yeah, I'll explain more off air when she approves some of the things we're talking about and get it up and help her out. But I'm still working on that. I know there's people out there that know exactly what I'm talking about from that show itself. But the other thing I wanted to tell you is I also heard, we were talking the last couple of days about Barrett Jackson.
Yeah.
Carolyn Jackson actually reached out to me today, wants to talk tomorrow.
Oh.
So I'm going to keep you in the loop as to what happens there.
Yeah.
I registered to go to Vegas June 17th, the day after Rawlings, 17th through 19th for Barrett Jackson.
Right.
I'm throwing it out there to you if you want to go and, check it out.
Hey, Barrett Jackson, let me write that down.
17th through 19th, Thursday through Saturday. I will be there. Ed's going. Mike from Wicked Flow said he'd be there if we go.
Yeah.
So just something to think about. I know that's short notice. Airfare is up. Ticket from here right now, $750.
Wow.
It's steep.
That's steep.
That's coach. It's not nothing fancy.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I could drive for less money in gas.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to figure that out because you may have to come get me.
I can do that.
We'll have to get an RV. Make it like the good old boys from the Blues Brothers.
There you go.
Hit the gas and keep going.
That's it. There you go. There you go. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in our guest tonight. And for you guys in the YouTube world, you know who he is. His name is Derek BIERI. He is Vice Grip Garage. So, and when he comes in, you'll get the whole hat thing. All right. Derek, where you at? There he is.
All right. I'm the bad guy here. Go for your guns.
Looking good. Like the hat, fellas.
There we go. There we go.
We had to be prepared. We didn't want to feel left out.
No, I like it. I mean, we got all the colors in here.
Right.
Pretty good.
All right. Red, white, and blue. Everybody's looking patriotic and shit, right?
Yeah.
Dude, he's got
your birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday. That's pretty awesome.
Yours was the other day. Happy birthday. What was yours? Sunday? Derek, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
28? Wait, 28, 29? It's like birthday month.
Thank you. Look at that.
How's your wife?
Snack delivery. What did I turn? 37? I'm not sure.
What?
Something like that.
37. He's young.
In my 30s. Yeah. It don't matter after you turn 21. It's all downhill from
it's all the same. They all click off all the same. Time flies. Believe me, it flies.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm on bonus time as it is. So
yeah.
Crazy.
Look, what are you going to be? 56?
8.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
58. Yeah. I'll be 58.
Well, you're doing well, sir.
I just tell everybody that I pickled my dashing good looks when I was in the military from all the drinking I did. All the drinking.
Yeah, I can attest. Them fellers in the barracks, they can drink. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I thought my nickname used to be Beer Man BIERI, and then I went to the barracks and I canceled that one because I couldn't hang. That was something else.
It was funny because it was last summer in Navy Times. They said that a Marine amphibious group went up to Iceland and did like a Liberty Port thing, and they said they drank the town dry. And they brought booze in from 2 other towns, and then
I believe it. I believe
it too.
Absolutely. Man, we just drink and run and drink and run and drink and run. That's about it.
Yeah. When I was in Guam, every Saturday morning we would run from the CB camp to the beach and back, and I want to say it was a 6-mile run round trip. But we'd also swim out. We would swim out to the first buoy, which was a 1/2 mile, and then swim back. And I'd stay out drinking all night, come back in, put on my shorts and a clean T-shirt, and go run. I'd be running, throwing up.
Before I left, I'd be like, "Oh, you fellers better know CPR because I'm drowning today." That's a guarantee. I get tired driving 6 miles. I don't know how you run 6 miles.
Derek, for those who don't know, can you explain your channel, what you're known for? I mean, you know what? I'm surprised that you two guys haven't come across each other and hung out prior to this.
You know
what I mean?
I was kind of thinking about it today. I put a post up on Instaletter and FaceSpace or whatever they are. And it's like, I've been watching Lou for years. This is humbling for me. Like, this is completely surreal that I'm even talking to you fellers. And it's just, you know, we just play with cars. We build hot rods. We try to get kids involved. We pay it back to veterans. You know, anybody that we can that is down on their luck. And one day I just picked up a camera and said, I'm going to try this YouTube thing. I literally taped a broken phone to my garage door. It was my first video. And did a swap in a 69 Camaro, and it kind of just took off from there. But I'm just a good old boy building hot rods with my friends, having fun, just doing things on a budget and making stuff run. And I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Yeah. Nothing fancy.
Derek, when you find a car, you're focused in on one, whatever it is, because what amazes me, like the 70 Cadillac that you did, what you know, questions you ask out in front to be able to qualify that car and go, yeah, I'm going to pick this up. It can't be just the price. You have to know that thing didn't blow a transmission. Do you ask the people that, or is it just an unknown story? Typically, what happens before you roll the camera?
No, a lot of people don't realize this, but right now I have probably a dozen purchased vehicles out in front of me that I've never even laid eyes on, that I just have in inventory, so to speak. And I buy them sight unseen because that's the way the internet works today. Everybody has to have everything immediately. Right. And you can't go look at anything anymore before it's sold. So right. I got used to this PayPal stuff and the Venoms or Venmos or whatever it is. And basically I say, does it run? And they say, nope. And I say, is it in bad condition? And they say, yep. And then I say, I'll take it. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes I ask if it has a key, but I mean, other than that, it doesn't really. The biggest thing for me is if I spend the time and money getting it, can I sell it to get out of it? So that's why usually you'll see vehicles on my channel that are, you know, they're worth a little bit of money running, because that's my goal. Because I'll put a lot of money into these cars just to get them, you know, like that Caddy. I had several $1,000s before I even got home in that thing, you know. So end of the day, it kind of is a business. You got to be able to get out of the thing. But of course, like everything else, I fell in love with it, and it's sitting in the tree roll with the other 4 dozen cars. So you know why John's interested in that Cadillac, right? Yeah. You want it? John's Italian. That's what they were.
Yeah, this hat doesn't say that though. This hat says I'm a Texan.
Yeah, that was a really. Do you guys want to hear the story behind that car? Because I do. I do. I was going to ask you. Yeah, so it's such a bizarre thing. I think I paid $3,800 for that car. Is what they were asking for. And I saw it was a triple white 4-door hardtop. Of course, it has a big block posi, you know, electric, everything, fully loaded. And it had original miles and all this stuff, supposedly. And I called the lady, and it was the sister of her brother owned it. And he bought it brand new way back in the day. And supposedly he had a drug and alcohol problem, and he had a newborn kid on the way. And the father kept threatening the feller, you know, if you keep acting up and partying and all this and that, you know, it's going to come to you and I'm going to take your car away or whatever. Well, that kid kept it up. And one night he came home loaded, and the dad took the keys and drove it down into what was then a swamp back in the day and got it stuck and hid the keys from his son and never gave him back. And there it sat. So that was the story I was told, because I think the car only has like 30,000 miles or something like that on it. Okay. And so I was just one of those things, right place, right time. and was able to make a deal on the car. And other than the rust where it was sitting down in that water, it is a very, very straight car. Got pretty lucky on that one.
Man.
Yeah, the interior looked like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's white and it's been sitting. It looked like it was pretty clean. I mean, it looked decent. It wasn't all, ratted out where it was. I mean, I know that you had water and some issues and things living under it and all that. But overall, I mean, that looks horrible, but so be it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty solid. I mean, it smelled like, dirty diapers and oatmeal, but other than that, I mean, it cleaned up pretty good, and we're going to do some more work with it on the channel. My wife fell in love with it too. And I think there was only like 2,700 made that year of the triple white. So we might hang on to that car there. Yeah. And that's the air ride. You see that bottle on that suspension arm there going to the fender well? That's a compressor for the air ride. I think that was the first year of that. So pretty cool car. It had all the options.
Yeah, 70 is a cool car. I always like the convertibles. I mean, that's not in bad shape for being white sitting in a field. Usually it's trash. I mean, everything looks decent. It's not for sitting in a field. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was blown away. They had a tarp on it for a while. And I guess after so many years, that kind of rotted away. And of course, rubbed the paint on the fenders and quarter panels and things like that. But I think that's ultimately what saved the interior, was having those on it. At least they had the wherewithal to do that at some point. But it cleaned up pretty darn good. We're happy with it for sure.
The paint the hood, the paint came up good when you clearly, you obviously, I mean, cleaned it up. It looks good.
Yeah, it's like a 27.3 footer, somewhere in there.
It's a barge. It's a barge.
Say, if it was me, I'd cut the roof off. I'd make it a parade car. Cut the roof. I would. Yeah. I would just do something like that. And Lou would chop it up. Lou chops up everything.
I'd put it in the dirt.
But you know what, Derek? You know what I like most is when you're watching your videos. It seems like, and I know you're narrating and explaining it, but it sounds like, man, you're in your head. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm saying. And it's just hilarious because you're almost talking to yourself going, oh my God, what is this? What is that? What's going on here? And it's a pretty cool position. I like the point of view. It's pretty funny. And I think that's what works really, really well.
I appreciate that. And I think it depends on who you talk to. One of my wife's friends is the therapist, and according to her, I'm mentally unstable. So
aren't we all?
Yeah. But
seriously.
I grew up with my grandpa, who, obviously was twice my age, and I remember as just a kid, 6, 7, 8 years old, hanging out with him in the shop, and it would just be me and him, and he'd be out there, with a torch or whatever. And I wonder if a guy could bend this and hammer this over and cut this. And he'd look at me, and I'm like, I don't have any idea. And that's kind of where I learned just to air things out and talk to yourself. I mean, I pretty much do all day long. It's just a one-man show. I'm the camera and operator and mechanic and editor and you name it. So pretty much just talk to myself all day long. And I just like to narrate things and let people know what I'm thinking and where I'm at and what could go wrong, which usually does, But
I was telling Lou, I said, it seems like Derek, even being a young dude at 37, he has an old soul. There's an old part, especially when you talk about showing the kids, getting kids involved. You got your boys involved, but you can tell that somebody passed it down. And then I saw or heard or read the story, and I'm hoping you repeat it here about the motor blew up in the combine, and your dad pulled. It seemed like your grandpa and your dad, whatever it takes, get it done, no excuses, make it happen type of people. What you have around, make it work. Tell us the story about the combine and the engine, please.
Sure, absolutely. So kind of to preface that, I grew up on a dirt farm way, way northwest of North Dakota. I don't know. It was like North Pole. We were right on the edge of Canada, basically.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have the parts store and the grocery store and the whatever else is I grew up in hand-me-downs and so forth. So if something broke, basically is what I'm saying, Dad and my grandpa, my uncles, we just had to figure it out. You'd go to the scrapyard and there's 100 years of junk there, and you cut what you need, or you take what you need, or you figure it out. And I was a young boy, and I think the first time I realized that we were kind of in hard times was we had an old, I think it was a Massey Ferguson combine, which had a small block Chevy in it. And it was harvest time, and engine was down. And we had, I think it was a 78 Chevy pickup, cherry red, had the white wagon wheels on it and the white leather tires. Can remember it like yesterday. Toolbox, 4-speed, cool truck. And I remember my dad just taking the engine out. And I'm thinking, why is he doing that? The truck runs. And then I'm watching him put it in the combine. And I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. And then it kind of dawned on me that he's just doing whatever he had to do to bring the crop in, because end of the day, that's how you pay bills, right? So it was engine out of the truck into the combine, get the harvest done, put it back in the truck to go to town, basically. you know? And that's just how we grew up. It was just always beg, borrow, and make things work, and just cobble things together. And it was a lot of fun. And looking back on it, I think it really made me who I am today, which is just appreciate everything. You don't have to have a lot to be appreciative, And I try to teach my kids that a little is a lot, and just whatever you can get, don't take it for granted, and be thankful, and find unique ways to make things possible. And money doesn't solve everything. Hard work does,
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you're right. So you have a working farm now, right?
It's no longer mine. It's still in the family, but it's leased. Yeah. So, but yeah, we think 140 some years now that farm's been operating. Yeah. And, bringing in a lot of good crops, wheat and soy, and the bins are still full, and we've been awfully thankful. And my cousins are up on the farm now. We still run cattle. So I still go up and we brand every year, and we help with harvest if we can, if we have the time. And it's a family legacy, I'm technically in the city, but all the family just converges every year to make sure that we get harvest in, and we get the cattle taken care of, and everything else. So it's a lot of fun.
Derek, how many acres? It looks like, you see forever in your videos. How many acres is the farm?
So I grew up on, I think it was just shy of 1,200, and I think my grandfather had about 2,200 acres. So, on Google Earth, you could basically see, our farms, because they were back to back pretty much. And I was lucky enough to grow up in the time where, I'd run out of the house barefoot in the morning, and my mom would say, hey, be home when the sun goes down. And we would just go do our thing. We would run through the trees and build tree houses and chase coyotes and eat weird things and get injured and, just figure it out.
Yeah.
And come home in the evening. And it was a lot of fun. And we're trying to do that with our children, is, be protective, but also give them enough leash to figure it out.
Yeah. See, in New York, we used to be out till the street lights came on.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
We did it in the city. It was free game during the daylight hours.
Yeah, one of the first things our dad tried to teach us was the old finger and the sunset thing, so you could figure out what time it was based on the sunset and the horizon. So 3 fingers to the horizon, you had to start heading home, because you had about 40 minutes or so. So
no way.
Yeah.
That's a different life.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
It was a lot of fun, man. You ever played hide and seek in a wheat field when you were a kid? That was a blast, because you're in 300 acres of wheat, and you wouldn't see your contender for 40 minutes.
You ever lose anybody? Anybody go missing? No.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, we gave up and went home, and someone would come back 3 hours later, way over there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Derek,
Oh.
when you're putting something together, what's the sketchiest thing you've done and going, you know what? It's a lick and a promise. I'm turning the key. I'm going for it. What is there anything you go, that one there, I really got away with it and shouldn't have?
As far as builds, I mean, I try to keep my builds, they're all sketchy and incorrect, but they're not like super dangerous. They're like slightly dangerous. I think the sketchiest thing I'd done was drive that car that's known as Independent Chevelle home. It's a 1972 Chevelle. And oh, there it is right there. Yeah. So I actually off camera stopped, I want to say 3 or 4 times, and legitimately prayed and just said, it was to the point where I felt like I was endangering other people's lives, because it was like driving a wet noodle. No matter what I did with the steering wheel, it didn't correlate with where the vehicle was going.
Wow.
The frame was so bad, I could hear the door jambs just creaking and smashing together. But there was just a part of me that said, you got to do it. You got to make this thing home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we pushed it, and that was a long day. I think it took me 13, 14 hours to get home. There were 7 holes in that frame the size of a fist, 3 or 4 cracks. The drag link was hitting the cross member. The ball joints were shot. I mean, it was just the most wore out car you could ever imagine. And that was one time I was really questioning my, it was just like, is it worth it putting it on the road, basically? And not for my health. I mean, I'll wrap myself around a telephone pole. That's no problem. But I don't want to hit another vehicle with a family in it or something,
Right.
So I would say that was definitely the sketchiest for me.
You still, where's that car at now? You still got it? What'd you do?
Yeah, still got it. It's about 1,000 horsepower right now, pro charged 460. It's got every bell and whistle you can think of. Disc brakes, roll cage. It's got a built turbo 400 in it. We just do burnout competitions with it right now, because the frame, again, I patched it, but it's so rough that I can't do quarter mile or cross or anything with it. So we just twist it up in the burnout box, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, when I get out of that car at the end of a burnout and 20,000 fans are chanting USA, it's the coolest thing that you could ever imagine. And it's really rad. We just did a competition in Indianapolis and about made a guy cry, to be honest. Just waving a flag and hearing the crowd chant, and it just makes it all worth it,
Yeah, right. So, now the body, did you do anything to the body, or is that you keep it just as it is?
What I did was, you see there, like the roof is like a tan rust color, and it kind of lost the red where the red stripes were.
Yeah.
So I fox tinted in paint where all that tan was, and sprayed in some white again, so the red and white bars are a lot brighter. And then I put my patented shine juice on it, which is a bowl of linseed oil, some earth ghost juice, a little bit of WD-40, and some other stuff. Puts a nice shine on it, and that's it. Put some wheels on it, and that's how it's going to stay. I even still have the broke out turn signals in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So what rear end did you put in that thing?
It still has the 8.5 10-bolt.
No way.
Yes.
And oh my God.
I put a mini spool in it, and I was like, this is going to last one burnout, and it's done. C-clip, spline, or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's hanging in there. It won't give up.
Crazy.
I don't understand it. It's got that tiny little, I think it's like a 1310 U-joint, those tiny little U-joints.
Yep. 1310. Yeah.
And it just won't break. It just baffles me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think it's because it just doesn't hook up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
I'm positive that's got to be what it is. I mean, that's the same with my transmission guy. When he built that 400, he's like, best thing you can do is pray this thing never gets grip. So you need to be in third gear immediately and just keep them spinning. I was like, well, I could do that. That sounds fun.
That's the easy part.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what's the deal with the 56 Buick? I saw that video the other day.
Yeah.
That's a cool car, man.
A really cool car. Let's see. My dad bought that in 88, I want to say. It used to be canary yellow and white. And when I was a kid, I'd ride around with my grandpa and my dad to junkyards and old farmsteads. And every piece on that car, you see the headlight trim, the front grille bar, the bumpers, the portholes, all of that came off of other cars that we traveled around. That car was just a burnt up shell, basically. And even the intake, the carburetor, everything. But he built that car when I was a kid and had it for a long, long time. And when he passed away, I inherited it. And long story short, when I had my kids, I had twins. It was a hard decision, but we ended up selling the car after I had restored it. I'm the one that painted it black and white. And of course, I regretted it immediately. And it took me over a decade to track that car down. I mean,
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was a lot of work. And finally found it, made the guy an offer. He kept turning it down. And finally, I think it was 5 or 6 months ago, I made him a stupid offer. I'm talking like Meekum auto auction offer.
Oh, boy.
And he finally said, yes, I'll take it. So I flew down and paid him, jumped in it with a prayer and a Harbor Freight toolbox and headed for Minnesota and did not make it.
What happened? Explain what happened.
It's something with it has a Dynaflow transmission, which I rebuilt 2 times. First time I messed it up. Dynaflows are tough. It's an art to get them dialed in right. But it's something with the torque ball or the torque tube. And it sounded like the output shaft. And there must be a old ball bearing in there. And it was just banging and slamming, and it really wasn't happy. And I knew if I drove it any further, it was going to get worse and worse and worse and probably tear the rear end out. So I did the right thing. And what did I do? Oh, I went to the bar and had a couple cold snacks, bought a pickup sight unseen, and went and got that pickup, rented a U-Haul trailer, and then pulled that car all the way home with a pickup that I bought off the interwebs. It was I think it was an 87 Chevy pickup or something like that.
Square body.
Yep, square body. It did fine. Made it all the way home. No issues.
That's cool. So I watched another video with that the C50, the hay truck.
Oh yeah, the hay truck. Yep.
Yeah, man. What are you gonna do with that thing?
We're I've got some acreage up there, and we're fencing it off this year, and we're wanting to do, level out some area and just put a camper in and stuff like that for just like a summer getaway cabin or hunting or something like that. And just to keep that truck moving, I think I'm going to put tires on it, and we'll just use it to haul trees and rocks and dirt and, whatever we can, just to keep the thing going. And to be honest, if I can't find a reason to use it, I'm just going to ease it to town and have breakfast and get some gas. And
it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
I learned to drive manual in that truck. It was my whole lesson was, or how did he say it? I think it was 11. He said, put it in number 1, first gear, turn the key and it'll start. And when you want to stop, turn the key off.
No clutch.
For about an hour, I did that. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. There's something wrong here. There's
jerking you around.
Oh my God.
I've done that.
Yeah. And then
I've done that to get home.
Yeah. And then I figured out, okay, this third pedal does a thing where it revs up, and kind of figured it out. But that's how my family is. It's like, they just tell you, they just give you minimal instruction, and a guy will figure it out, basically.
Got it.
And
yeah, right.
I put in, I think, a 14-hour day hauling hay that day. And by the time I got home, I was like, Grandpa, you didn't tell me how to drive the truck. He's like, I knew you'd figure it out eventually. It's like, jeez, cost of a clutch and a starter, but I guess I figured it out, you know.
Derek, what did you think once your page, your YouTube started to blow up and started to gain momentum and get crazy? What were you thinking? What was it like beforehand, and what's it like now? Because you got a lot of followers, you got a lot of traction.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still surreal to me. I just definitely not used to it, you know. I could pretty much any parts store I walk into, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, there's, Derek with Vice Grip Garage," and I'm still like, "What?" Like, but the biggest thing that I'm positive will not change is who I am, I guess, is the thing. Is like, I want folks to know that, Vice Grip Garage isn't going to change. I'm not going to change who I am. My morals are going to stay the same. The channel is going to stay the same. But it's definitely a lot different having folks approach me. I'm still not used to that. I probably will never be used to that. But it's a lot of fun. The biggest thing is, for me, that makes me smile is the younger kids that'll come up and say, "Hey, you taught me how to change my water pump, or pack my wheel bearings, or read spark plugs, and
Yeah.
man, that feels really good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't teach that anymore, and Lou does a great job of teaching. You've been doing it for years, and that makes me really smile, and it makes me want to work harder. Is when younger generations say, "You give me the confidence to go buy trucks or cars, or put a little money into it, figure it out," and that really gives me some gusto to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you came by that honestly. I mean, your early influences, when you think about it, your dad and your grandfather, who else was there that influenced you? Because I mean, that comes from family, that mentality.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. It's always been family for me. I mean, it's my dad, my grandpa, my uncles. My dad, like any guy, I guess, he had a business, and his reason for advertising was, or his race car was his reason for advertising, right? So he had a race car. So when I was a kid, real young kid, I had to stand on a milk crate, basically. I was changing sparkulators out and doing all this stuff, and he was teaching me all this stuff. And I didn't realize it then how rare of an opportunity it was to be leaning over a fender of a race car at that young of an age, having, the pits. There's 100 years of racing technology and information, and all these folks, and they're kind of teaching and fostering you and all this knowledge and stuff like that. And it's just, I guess it's just how you're raised, end of day, honestly, is kind of how you get into this stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Shoot, you can't complain about that. It just makes it good. I mean, you obviously have a good work ethic, because you're just showing up in places like Texas and going, "Oh, I'm going to drive this car home."
Yeah.
You can't do that unless you have confidence. You just can't do it. You know what I mean? So that's very cool, and that's good to pass on. It really, truly is. So you've got twins. You said you got twin boys or twin girls?
Twin boys, yeah.
So how old are they?
So my twin boys are almost 12, and then my little dude is 9. So I've got actually got 3 boys.
So have you already put them in the hay truck and taught them how to drive?
So the twins are learning right now on a 67 F250 4-speed. And then, my little dude, he wants to go into Bandit go-kart racing, which is a winged, it's like a mini sprint, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is a daredevil. He'll come around the shop in his go-kart or his dirt bike just wide open. And I'm terrified, like, "Oh, no, Rick, Mom's going to be mad." And, he's just, he'll stop and be like, how can we make this faster? And I'm like, well, we could put a different sprocket on it. And he's like, yes, buy one of those then. And I'm like,
buy one.
So I'm definitely in trouble. But, if you watch the videos, it's like, if they want something, I'm making them work for it. My kids they tune up their own cars. They check the fluids. They clean the sparkulators. They work on the carburetors. Because I want to teach them that not only is this what you should be doing and it's valuable to know, but if you want something, you've got to earn it. Like you've got to earn your way to get there,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I told all my boys. They have their cars picked out what they want. I said, you can have them, but Dad's not going to do any work on them. You're going to have to do all the work. I'll show you how, and I'll teach you how, but you're going to turn the wrench,
Yeah. So I take it the cars are on the property already.
Yeah. So, one of the twins has the 67 F-250. He likes that one. The other one likes the 65 C10 known as Lawsuit. And we call it Lawsuit because of the pending lawsuit that I'm sure is going to happen. I mean, there's no body panel left. It's all license plates and road signs. And I mean, the seats aren't even, that is a crazy truck. We're going to turbo that one, dual carb, do some fun stuff. And then my youngest has, he likes the 69 Camaro, known as Cancer Camaro, because it has so much rust. But he wants that one. So, yeah.
So you're in the Dakotas, and I know there's a lot of tin up there. Is there still a lot of good, solid cars up there?
There is, yeah. So North Dakota is looked over a lot for classics just because of, plains or whatever, but there's no rust in North Dakota. They don't
sell it's dry.
They don't do nothing with the roads. I mean, it's a dry winter, it's a dry summer. So all the tin and metal up there is in really good shape. And what I've seen is a lot of the 30s to 50s metal is in pristine, what would be considered pristine condition by today's standards up there. The 60s, 70s, and 80s have been picked over, but you can see rows and rows of 30s, 40s cars, Plymouths, Maxes, Studebakers, you name it. A lot of them still have glass. It's pretty remarkable, actually. And up there, they just drag them on the rock piles, and they just sit on rock piles. So they're not even in the grass or the mud. They're up on rocks, so they don't rot.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta make a trip up there.
Derek, have you had? I know you said you stepped up for the Barrett. You spent Barrett Jackson money on the Buick. Have you had anybody offer you crazy money for one of your builds? Go, I got to have that just for whatever reason. I mean, what do you do to unload? Can't keep everything.
Yeah. So about 12 years ago, I had a shop and we built what I call shiners, which is the shiny stuff. It makes me super nervous, and I got tired of it, to be honest, and I kept two of them, and about 2 years ago, I sold a 72 Chevelle that I built for myself, supercharged 355, super T10 4-speed, 12-bolt, had all the whatever. And I got an offer that was considerably higher than what I was asking, and I told the guy no. And he was like, what do you mean no? And I said, I'm not. Why would you pay that kind of money for my car? My asking price is my asking price. And it's just one of those things, like, I was almost offended that they were overpaying because of who I was or the channel versus what I was just asking for the car. You know what I mean? But I have to say, overall, it's a little bit harder to sell cars today than it used to be. You'd think it would be the opposite, but cars will sell and then they'll sit for months and I won't get paid and I have to relist them, or folks don't show up or whatever else. So normally when I sell my cars today, I just put them up on eBay under a different name and just hope they do decent, because if I list them locally, it's just a bunch of tire kickers and empty promises. Unfortunately, I'm glad that people, I'm happy that people want to meet me and stuff like that, but it's definitely made selling vehicles tough, really tough.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks ago, we had Steve Darnell on from Vegas Rat Rods.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Lou, it was probably 3 days ago, about your story and the similarities. And I don't know if you know Steve or are familiar with Steve.
Yep.
But his background and the same attitude as far as whatever you got, make it work. He started welding everything. His dad had an iron shop, and instead of buying anything, he made everything.
Yep.
And they would use old 32 Fords. He didn't get into the details there on the show, but they would use 32 Fords somehow, some way to bale hay, use it as machinery, whatever it was, they would make it work. I just thought it was cool. A couple things. The similarities, the background, the farmland, because he grew up in Montana, moved to Vegas later.
Yep.
The attitude, his father was a key player in getting him up and doing his thing and setting that groundwork. And I'm saying this, Derek, you already know, but there's people listening that take that for granted and go, yeah, whatever. I'm there, I'm not there, cat's in the cradle type shit. But also what was pretty cool is, I don't know if you've seen his channel. His channel on YouTube is Make It Run Again. Your shows are similar of take it from one spot, see what you could do no matter what it is, and get it from A to B. Have you seen his work?
Yeah. Steve's a great guy. We actually talk quite a bit, and
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's good stuff. He's gold. I mean, that dude is not to get discursive, but he is an absolute artist. Like that guy. I mean, he's not a mechanic. He's not a car guy. That guy is out of this world metal artist and just applies it to cars. He's the Bob Ross of cars. But no, we had a few different phone calls about his show and what he was doing, and I hope to actually do some stuff with him in the future because it's pretty similar. He and Merle will fly in or drive in wherever, buy some old truck or car, get it running. And the nice twist on his thing is he'll try to sell it by the time he gets home, which is brilliant.
Yeah, he was telling us that.
Yeah, it's very smart. I actually almost bid on that crew cab the other day.
What was it, a Ford that he just, what was it that he just had? The one he just had not long ago. Yeah.
No, it was a Chevy crew cab.
Chevy.
Yeah, it was a crew cab.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, he gets it. It's just minimalist. Do what you got to do, make it work. I've seen him make push rods out of stuff that shouldn't be push rods, and I've been through his shop tour and looked at his cars, and it's just unbelievable, the craftsmanship and the artistry, and just looking at pieces and what he substitutes for normal parts is just like mind blowing. Like that guy.
Lou and I were talking. You pictures, you see video, you watch the show, Vegas Rat Rods, whatever, and you're like, yeah, I get it. But when you see it in person, it takes you a good 40 minutes to take the car in, to look at everything and stand there. What the hell is he thinking? I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. So his Tri-5 Haunted, I think I stood next to that car. It must have been legitimately 2 hours. I mean, my legs were hurting. I was just walking around it. And every time you made a circle, you would say, geez, I didn't see that last time.
Yeah. And
it was another detail and another detail. And the same with that car, the Joker. I mean, it's just, compound turbo, supercharged diesel. I mean, it's just mind blowing. Yeah. But it's all used parts. It's junk. It's scrap iron. It's, I have a lot of respect for that guy for sure.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I thought that was similar. The stories, the baseline, the work ethic. I was just, I thought that was pretty cool. And I think people need to see that because, they take it for granted. Go, yeah, you just dropped here, no big deal. But no, there's somebody else behind you, that showed you what's happening and actually, set the baseline and made you who you are. Outside of your grandpa and your dad, And Lou was touching on this. Was there any other car builders that you looked up to, maybe even before YouTube, that you thought that's pretty cool shit? Excluding Lou, of course.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna talk about Lou.
No, not me.
I've probably watched I'd say 60, 65 episodes of you on TV. Isn't that weird? I mean, that's a long time. You put years.
Yeah, I was on for a while.
Yeah,
14 years.
I mean, it was like I had to see Lou, see what he was doing on TV. And but no, I mean, it's there was a guy named Roger Zweifel who owns Zweifel Motors in Piedmont, South Dakota. And he has another shop in Scotland, South Dakota. He mentored me when I was in high school. And when I was in high school, he had about 210 cars. Wow. And I think he's down to about 140 now, 135, 140. And reason for that is I bought most of them. but real old school. He taught me how to do body work with lead. We were doing Mustang 2 front ends when they weren't a thing. We were doing GM A body front end swaps when they weren't a thing. We were putting big Buick like Wildcat LeSabre rear ends and 50s Buicks when that wasn't a thing. And he just kind of had the concept and the vision, and I didn't really fully understand what I was doing then. I was just following direction and welding and cutting and torching and hammering. And looking back today, like, he was a legit hot rodder.
Yeah.
And had a huge influence on what I do today. I mean, we would take a 50 Oldsmobile, put a Mustang 2 front end on it, put a 496 Chevy in it, put a Power Glide in it, make the whole interior, and we would do like lacquer paint, which no one does anymore. Yeah. And I treasure those times because it's just stuff that no one does anymore, And I spent a lot of time out there today. He's 86 now, so I like to go out and reminisce with him and chew on the fat, and I try to buy a car or two from him here or there to keep things afloat for him. But he also kind of helped push my love for Buicks. Of course, I grew up with a Buick, that 56, but he's a big Buick guy as well. So he's probably got 30, 40 Buicks. And he was definitely a huge, huge mentor for me. It's just one of those things where you don't realize in that time and space how much you're learning and absorbing until, 2 decades down the road, you look back and go, wow, that guy was a huge inspiration in my life,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Speaking of Buicks, you still got that 68 LeSabre?
The LeSabinator.
LeSabinator, yes, the LeSabinator.
Yeah, no, I still have that one. I just hit it with a lawnmower today, actually, riding lawnmower. That's how I know I still have it.
Dude, my mom had a 67.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love that car, man. That was a cool car.
Man, that thing, it just floats down the road.
Awesome.
I mean, I would put that thing up against a new Cadillac any day. I mean, you fall asleep in that thing. No, still have it. What does it need? I can't find a gas tank for it. I can't find an OEM gas tank. Needs a radiator and I think some brake work. But other than that, it runs great. I mean, I plan on keeping that one for quite a while. That was Roger, who I was just talking about. That was his parents' car. They bought it brand new from the dealer.
Wow.
So I definitely want to hang on to that one. But I can't find a fuel tank for that thing. It's odd.
What about like a Chevelle tank? Because it's the same style, isn't it?
You would think, but instead of being rectangular, wide ways as a trunk, it's the opposite. It's like narrow, wise towards the axle. It's an odd fuel tank. I haven't been able to find one. I'm probably going to end up having to get this one just refurbished or something, or coated. But I can't even find the sending unit or the sock or anything. It's pretty bizarre.
What about getting one made?
That's a potential. I thought about just putting a fuel cell or, something in it. The thing runs too dang good just to sit there.
Right.
It's the 400 model, so it's got the high output 350 and the turbo 400 in it,
Yeah.
and everything else. So that thing will do a one tire fire for 2 city blocks. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I did. I've had tanks made by Rick's Tanks and Rock Valley, and what I've done in the past is I draw up exactly what I need, the size, like a 3D drawing as best I can, and where I want everything. And both of them have nailed it every time. I've done about 6 tanks like that for just weird stuff that I built, and they'll put everything you need in it. And I really like what Rock Valley does, because like if you're putting a fuel injected motor in, or you want to run an aftermarket EFI setup, you tell them what you got, and they'll put like a vet pump in it. So when you get it, you'll have, you just go to the store and say, I got an 04 vet and I need the fuel pump for it. And it's all set up. It's got the ring. It locks in everything. Yeah. I mean, you might
write this down
something like that. It's
That's
not
a
cheap,
bad idea.
but every time I've done it with something oddball, they send me a set of straps with it. Done. Put it in like it belongs there.
Well, just if you can reduce 3 hours of fighting and hitting it with a Tanya Harding and pry bar, it's worth the money in the end, So I'd kind of like to put EFI on that and get the AC working and just make it a family cruiser. So
That'd be cool.
That might be worth it. Appreciate the lead. I wrote that down. So
Derek, what do you have coming up around the corner? You got anything in the pipeline you're going to drop? What's up?
Yeah. What is today again? Wednesday or something?
Today's Wednesday.
19th.
19.
So next week I get my Class 6. Well, hopefully I get my Class 6 NHRA drag racing license. So I'll be able to run 6s, I think. And then I go straight to Summit Drag Week, and I'm racing one of Tom Bailey's cars for a week. And then from that, I get a couple days off. Then I go to Rocky Mountain Race Week, and I'm racing MotionWorks El Toro, which is a 1,200 horsepower Fox body Mustang that runs about 840s, 850s. And I'm doing that. And then I go straight into Hot Rod Drag Week, which I hope to have my 777 race car done, which is a 38 Chevy Coupe. And we're doing that old school. It's going to have a 5-speed manual and roots blower and some nitrous, just kind of old school. And then straight from that to Hot Rod Power Tour.
There you go.
Pretty much all the way through the end of August.
That's a schedule there.
Booked. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about doing the Hot Rod Power Tour. It'd be a first for me. Lou, you've done the Hot Rod Power. You did it on
we did
one of the shows.
Yeah, we did it with the show. Yeah. We did the last. We didn't do the first stop. We did the rest.
Yeah, if you guys go, let me know. It'd be fun to hook up and cruise or whatever.
Definitely.
Yeah, we were talking about Lou was pushing to take. I got a '62 Lincoln convertible. He was pushing last week to get that out. I just got the transmission rebuilt. That's ready to go. But I'm talking. My daily driver is a 2010 Tahoe police vehicle with the push bar, the cattle crusher in the front.
Nice. Yeah.
I clear out the left lane. It's good for running. Like I just had to go to West Virginia last week to do a project, and I could run 110 miles an hour, not worry about anything. I mean, the cops wave. When I run through a speed trap at 90, they do the okay. I just keep going everywhere I go.
You just go ahead, dude.
That's right. There's a new sheriff in town. But I keep saying we put a puffer on that and take it through the Hot Rod Power Tour. I think it would be pretty cool to run it because we could sleep in and be the first ones there after everybody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Get some omelets in the morning and a Bloody Mary, and then just head out late and get there early. I like that.
We were also talking. The idea was Brian Johnson from AC/DC has said he agrees to come on, but he doesn't want to talk about AC/DC. And I wanted to call him on the carpet. Go, listen, we're going to do the power tour. We'll run block for it because he's got a General Lee, and he could run that thing behind us at 100 miles an hour, knowing that ain't nothing going to happen to him. We can get in front or behind him and still have a good time.
Yeah.
But I think we could have some stories zipping 200 miles a day in 45 minutes. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Easy.
The worst part about Power Tour is just sitting in the dang old traffic. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 95 degrees and you got a back waterfall going on, and the kids are crabby, and you can't find no good radio stations, and it's just everything bad that could happen is happening, but if you can get around that.
Yeah. Well, we could put the lights on and zip through around the left lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I gotta ask, what's the deal with the 74 K5 Blazer?
70. Oh, the blue one.
The blue one.
The hardtop. So
Yes.
that actually belongs to Roger, my good friend. So that's for sale, actually. A good running truck. It just sat forever. There was a bad hailstorm up in South Dakota probably 11 years ago. It was probably softball size hail. I mean, I lost a couple of Omegas, a Nova, a few Cadillacs, just absolutely, destroyed with hail. And that's the only reason he stopped driving that Blazer, is I think the window got smashed. He did replace it, but it's still for sale. It's sitting there. I think he's got 3 or 4 Blazers sitting there for sale. He wasn't going to sell it, and then I got it running, and he was like, well, I guess if I got a good enough offer, he'd get rid of it. And he's not asking a bad price. I think he wants like $4,000 is all, or something like that. Comes with new quarter panels, new fenders. Yeah.
I'm looking for the whole windshield and a top.
That would be just take the whole truck.
Yeah.
You got parts galore and another runner. You know.
Because I got an 87 that needs floors. And I was thinking about making it where I can take the whole top off, because I prefer the whole top off versus the pickup truck style. You know what I mean? I just don't like them.
Yeah, it was kind of weird how they did that. It was like, it just seemed odd to buy a Blazer to take essentially a topper off,
right?
The whole roof. You know what
I
mean? It seemed weird. But when I was younger, we'd go wheeling in that thing, and taking the whole roof off with that factory roll bar in there, it was so cool. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I think they just look cool with the whole top off.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they just look cool. That's why I want to do that thing. But finding a roof and finding the whole windshield opening is impossible. You're gonna find when that's been wrecked really bad and it's still there, but it's not an easy task. I've been looking, and it's not easy. That's for damn sure.
No, and most of them are rolled, so the tops aren't any good, and the A-pillars are gone, and the glass is gone, and everything else. But that one's been babied, and I think it's had an engine swap. And what's the all-wheel drive transfer case? The 203, or is it a 205?
205, if I'm not mistaken, is the cast iron one.
Is that the chain driven?
So I would say 203 maybe is the all-wheel drive one. I guess. Yeah,
that's the only maybe downside, is it's the all-wheel drive version. But you
could sell that. You could sell that and put a better transfer case in it.
Yeah,
they're desirable.
Yeah, it's a good rig. He's whenever he gets ready to sell his collection, it's going to be something else, because there is a lot of neat stuff for sure. A lot of 40 Fords, 50s, Mopars and Chevys, Oldsmobiles, a ton of Tri-5s, louvered hoods, old school hot rods, stuff like that. It's going to be pretty cool.
That's very cool. That's very cool. All right. Well, you know what? We have chewed up an hour of your time.
That one's quick, actually.
Yeah. See, that's because we let you talk. We let you lose track of time. That's what we did. I have to ask you one more question. And my friend Vinny sent me a text while we were sitting there. I saw it flash across my phone. He wanted to know if you were in the military.
So I get asked this a lot, actually, because clearly it looks like I was, but I actually was not in the military. I'm just a huge supporter and fan. My family has been in the military since the beginning of my family. And I've just seen the positives and negatives that military does. And I just try to support veterans like yourself, and thank you for your service. And I'm just blessed to live in a country that we have brave men and women that are willing to fight every day for us. And I just want to give back. That's my whole thing is I can't do it. So, let's pray and be thankful for those that can,
Yeah.
Derek, I don't know if you were reading the comments, but there was two that I wanted to point out. One of them was a guy said he took on his restoration project, gave it a shot because of you. The other guy said he started his YouTube channel because you inspired him to do that.
That's very cool.
You should know, listen, you're doing the right thing. You're getting people up talking, and it's all positive. There's nothing negative. I don't see anything. I've been looking at the comments. I don't see anything where anybody's miserable and hateful. Keep doing what you're doing, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. End of the day, the car community is it's a bunch of really awesome folks like you guys. I mean, we all want the same thing, right? Keep hot rods alive, have fun, enjoy what you do, go to bed with a smile on your face, and try to pass the torch, right? So it's just
exactly.
I'm super blessed to be doing what I'm doing, and I guess I call it work, but really I get to play every day, and I'm just thankful for those that watch the channel and support us as a group,
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool. And, someone wants to know when you want to come up and tour Canada.
Border open?
Will Derek come up and tour Canada? I mean, we'll make that the last one. You want to go to Canada?
So, true story, I bought a Corvair on the Canadian border. It was painted like a flag, of course. And I tried to get over the border, and the guy was like, dude, if I let you across, it's 2 weeks. You got to sit up there. And I was like, well, you got maple syrup and bacon and stuff. And I think he was getting, taking offense to it, but I was genuinely like, let's go, let me over. And no, I tried to get over, and they wouldn't let me. Apparently, the job isn't as important as I hoped it was. But no, when the border's open, I'm definitely going to Canada. I've got DeBoss Garage and Classic Mustangs and DD Speed Shop, Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
There's a dozen folks up there that I'd love to go meet and just do some hot rod stuff and have fun. But I got to be able to get back. That's the thing. So,
yeah.
Derek, what are you running? What are you thinking of running in the Hot Rod Power Tour?
Probably the 74 C20 crew cab. It's C-notch, drop 6 inches. We're doing an LS swap, 4L80E, air conditioning, cowhide seats, going old school.
Yep.
That sounds cool.
But I have none time to finish that, so that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't work, we're going to take the Cadillac. That's kind of the backup plan, because all I got to do with that is some brake lines and some tires and just send it. We'll figure it out on the road, basically.
Cool.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. All right, so let's shut this bad boy down. I just want you to know, thanks for coming on, Derek. And remember, next week, Justin Padfield, the owner of Scott's Hot Rods, is coming on. And if you want to get with us, you want to send us an email, it's 3leftsdon't@gmail.com. Just remember that, the number 3leftsdon't@gmail. All right, and remember to follow, like, share. Do all those things, because without you guys, we can't do what we do, and we can't talk to people like Derek and bring them to you into your house. John, thanks a lot. Ken, Ryan, fantastic job. It was their first run, and we'll see you guys later. I'm out. Lou Santiago. Have a nice day.